I've been away from the fray. I mean, you haven't heard any comments from me, and I'm growing my hair out right now, and spending time with the family, and I'm being an AAU dad right now. And that's what matters to me at this point. Nothing else really matters.
You've been able to stay away from the rumors and all. I mean, there's been a lot of drama.
From you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, I stay away from them.
Right. The New Yorkers are wondering what the chances are of you being in the Knicks training camp.
I don't know. I'm not talking about basketball right now.
Phil obviously represents. What did you think of that? Did that change anything?
No, I thought it was a business decision. Well, Dolan got to run his organization.
All right, so that's Melo today in Baltimore. We got Stephen A. here with us. So Melo and Phil were at loggerheads, and Phil did his level best to make things a little uncomfortable for Carmelo Anthony.
Yes, he did.
Now that Phil Jackson is gone, what sense do you have of where Melo wants to play basketball next?
Melo wants out.
Still wants out.
Melo has told James Dolan he wants out. He does not want to be with the New York Knicks anymore. He thinks the time has come for a change. His preference would be to be in Houston. That's not the only place that he could go. Cleveland is still a possibility, despite reports to the contrary. But the likelihood is that if he had his druthers, rather, he would prefer to be in Houston. It's just that Houston is offering Ryan Anderson.
Yeah.
New York Knicks, that's not enough. So you're going to have to get another team involved if you're going to get Carmelo Anthony to the Houston Rockets to join his friend Chris Paul and, of course, the great James Harden. That's what this comes down to. But it's one of those situations where Steve Mills, the president, Scott Perry, the new general manager, if the right move comes along, they'd want Melo to waive his no-trade clause and go. But Melo doesn't have to waive his no-trade clause to go someplace else that he doesn't want to be. But it's getting a bit tricky for him because there are various places he doesn't want to be, but he's also told the Knicks he doesn't really want to be there any longer. So somewhere, somebody's going to have to give, and they're going to have to work this out.
Why do you think he wants out of New York at this point?
Because, he's tired of hearing people like myself and others reminding him that in his 14-year career, he's never been to an NBA Finals. He's only been to one conference championship series. He's been to two conference semifinal series. And the rest of his career, he has either been out of the playoffs or getting bounced out in the first round 8 or 9 times. That is unacceptable for a guy of his greatness. Carmelo Anthony can average 30 in his sleep. He's a career 27.7 point per game scorer. This dude is 6'8", 240. He can score inside, he can score outside, he can shoot the three. He's got a mid-range game, he's got a handle, hit free throws. He's an offensive juggernaut, even at this age. And there is absolutely, positively no excuse for him to continue to grab the money and accept sitting in a mediocre position. He doesn't need to be with the New York Knicks anymore because clearly he hasn't been able to get them over the hump. They're a moribund franchise. They've been absolutely pathetic for the better part of the last 13 or 14 years. We all know this to be factual, and that is that. If he was the answer, they would have been able to get it done. Unfortunately, they let go of Mike Woodson. Jason Kidd retired. This is the year they won 54 games and won the Atlantic Division crown. They shouldn't have lost that series to the Indiana Pacers, but they ended up doing so. And that's the only good year that he has had in New York City. It's time for a change.
Yeah, but exactly. But last year, Phil was trying to force him out, and Melo was trying to hang in there.
Well, Melo was trying to hang in there because Phil was being disrespectful. Phil was talking about it as if Melo was the problem instead of Phil Jackson. Phil was trying
so he didn't want to be run out of town.
He didn't want to be run out of town. He didn't want the triangle offense incorporated. You're hiring coaches and forcing them to play your system instead of letting them coach their system. You're bringing in players, forcing them to capitulate to your system when you weren't the coach, instead of evolving your system around the talent that you had on your roster. That is what Carmelo Anthony was resistant to. And as a result, Phil Jackson left him hanging. Had the job, was the president, spoke in September. We couldn't find him till April, even when Derrick Rose went AWOL and we couldn't find him, and his teammates and everybody else was wondering where the hell he was. We didn't hear from Phil then. The only time between the month of September to April that we heard from Phil Jackson was when Phil Jackson was seen coming out of the stands trying to restrain Charles Oakley and calm him down before getting on the phone with Michael Jordan and asking Michael Jordan, Charles Oakley's best friend and one of his former teammates, to do the same. That's the only time that Phil Jackson has been relevant at Madison Square Garden, from September to April. Melo did not want to be a part of that situation because Phil Jackson left him hanging, and he left Melo to hang and dry.